Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, Juan. So today I'll be talking to you guys about my ADHD story. And oh my god, look at this hat. This is my LA hat. I love LA so much. I can't wait to go to LA one day. This hat means a lot to me. Like, that's where like my dreams are, and like my dream city, LA. So anyway, let's get back to the point. So I'm gonna tell you guys my ADHD story. I'm gonna tell you guys what it's like to live with ADHD, and everything about my ADHD journey in general. So first of all, what's ADHD? For any of you guys who don't know, ADHD means attention deficit hyperactive disorder, which means that it's a mental disorder that you were born with, that you just really can't like stay still, or you get distracted easily. Usually you tend to be disorganized. Like, usually you're just like a disaster when it comes to things, which obviously happens to me. So how I first was diagnosed with ADHD, and my first signs of ADHD growing up was that my mom would tell me that that like the first like 2 or 3 years of my life, I would take forever to learn how to talk. And that's one of the symptoms, because like you take forever to learn how to walk, or learn how to speak, learn how to do anything. So that would happen to me, that I was already 3 years old and I wouldn't say a single word. So she took me to Miami Children's Hospital at the time, which is now called Nicklaus Children's Hospital, but it was back when it was called Miami Children's Hospital, here in Miami, obviously. And then she took me to a neurologist, and then that's when the neurologist said, like, oh, your son has ADHD. And then when my father found out, he just decided, you know what, let's do this. Forget working, because during the time my mom was working at Kentucky Fried Chicken, she was a manager. So my dad was like, yeah, just quit, just take care, just stay full-time taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, especially how me specifically, needed a little bit more attention and assistance, especially because I had I still do have that disorder, but like, even at that time I had that disorder. So so that happened. And then once I got into school, like already enrolling into school, they were asking them if like the school officials were asking them, like, oh, what programs there are, because the fact that I was always a turtle when it would come to writing or anything in general, because that's also one of the symptoms, that usually when it's something that you don't like, you're a turtle at it. But when it's something that you love, like, you just go like at full speed. And I can relate to that, because when it would be something about writing, which I love, I'm a speed demon when it comes to that. But when it would be something like math or science, really, because that was never really my thing, I would be such a turtle. And then that took a toll on me until later on in life, but you'll find out later. So then they've heard of a program that, thank God, here in the US we have it, because I feel like if I never had that special assistance, I wouldn't have been able to even at least get a high school diploma. Let me tell you that from right now. But the point is that they found this program, which is actually pretty popular, called special education, or SPED, but at the time it used to be called ESE, which means exceptional student education. but then later on they changed the name to just SPED, which is short for special education. So they put me into that program, and what it did is that I did go to class like everybody else in middle school and in once I got into middle school and to high school. But the only difference is that like usually the classes were smaller and the teacher was more one-on-one. So I was in that program, but once I got into school, it started to get a little bit tough for me to be around people my age, and it would be really scary because the fact that I never socialized like a normal kid, and it was always so tough with me because like and I really felt so like out of place, because especially how all these kids like around my age at the time, like whether I was an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old, they would they would be talking about other stuff, but like, or like basketball or whatnot, but I never liked basketball at all. I was never really a sporty type of guy growing up, and then I would just never really fit in. And then when I would try to approach to someone, how maybe that someone was so nasty, or that certain someone would just be friends with me and then they would just play with me, which really affected me, because sometimes I was during those times I was so desperate to even have a friend because of how lonely I've ever felt. And that's really the sucky parts when you go through something like that, especially with a mental disorder. And oh my god, what made it even harder is that the fact that I grew up in a Hispanic family, and obviously when you grew up in a Hispanic family, you have family all over the place. But like, and obviously I don't blame my other family members in a third world country for them to know what that is, because like they don't really have as much of the resources to know what that is or whatnot. And what made it really hard is that the fact that it's just crazy how many people don't really know what ADHD is. So that's how come I even explained it first in the video, because in those countries, like, they don't have those kind of programs. They don't have that kind of discovery and diagnosis how you would in a first world country, like for example, like here in the States. And here in the States, and oh my god, I'm getting sort of emotional. But the reason why I say that it was hard also, especially when you grow up in a Hispanic families, because like when they realize how different you are, in the sense that you're so hyperactive and that you can't stay still or any of those, how they would always say like, oh, what's wrong with you, or they would just assume that you're dumb, which would make me feel bad, which would make me like really feel bad about myself. Oh my god, this was a tough video for me to make. So the point is, it would make me feel bad, and it would make me feel bad, but I don't blame them, because they don't really educate people on mental disabilities and mental disorders. And well, I believe we should really spread awareness more about it, because it really even kills me when other people, but mainly in the Hispanic community, are like, oh, what is that, or they would look at you like if you're like some alien. But to me, it was already normal like that, because I was already used to for people to look at me like an alien, and I don't think that's right. And even if I would get a tattoo, honestly, who knows if I would even get a tattoo or not, it would be me. I would have like a Stitch tattoo here with with the page that he's in, the ugly duckling, but instead of with the ugly duckling picture on it, I would just put belong. One time I saw that on Instagram, and I was like, oh my god, I could relate so much to a fictional character, to Stitch, because he really felt like he didn't belong either, and that really got me to home. So like, like I don't really blame like in the Hispanic community, like that no one really knows about it, because it's something that's common, and I feel like they should know. Like in weird I'm gonna give you guys a few weird case scenarios. That one time when I was in high school, and I believe I was in math class, I I knew this girl that I'm not gonna say her name because it's like, what's the point? So so I was staying with this girl, and then we would talk to each other like every morning, like, hey, what's up, blah blah blah. And how I knew that my ADHD really did take control over me was when I would, so sometimes throughout the conversation, when I would get really tired or bored or anything, how like she would be talking, and then out of nowhere I would just stare, and then she would get like annoyed, like, Juan, like, Juan. And another hilarious case scenario was that one time when I went with some friend of mine to Vizcaya, and this would even happen to me at school too. So I took this friend of mine to Vizcaya, and he brought he brought some friends with him to film like a little movie or whatnot, because he was always obsessed into movies or whatnot. And then she randomly came up to me because she just randomly wanted to get to know me. And then she would and then she just came up to me because she randomly seemed so interested to get to even get to know me. And then some parts of the conversation I would just rock myself. And then and then sometimes she would even tell me, it's like, why are you doing this? Or I would even have some classmates that they would be bored. So they would be bored as hell, and then they would just start mocking me. And for lots of times throughout my life, I did cry. Like, I did feel like I was like I was like a factory error. But then I just got used to it, and I just got used to it. And that's it for today's video. Now you know about my ADHD story, what it's like to live with ADHD, a little bit of pieces of my life to then talk to you about ADHD. And my final note that I want to say is that I hope that there will be more awareness, a little bit more support, address these issues even in schools outside of the US. I feel like also, oh wait, I even forgot to mention something. I feel like also my ADHD has taken a toll with me throughout my college career, which I don't have anymore. Which I don't have anymore, because I believe that also, even though here in the US we have really great programs that would accommodate students to be able to succeed, but that's only in elementary, middle, and high school. Because in college, forget it. Like I feel like they never really cared, and that's how come I just decided to drop out of school, because also I felt like I never got the assistance I needed, and I would bug the teacher so much that I just knew that I wasn't gonna make it. Yeah, that there should be more assistance with students like that, because I think it's really sad and disgusting how me that I've been in the public school system, how when I would be sitting in class, and then when I would hear other teachers that would make an IEP, that would make like a mini little IEP interview. And what an IEP is that an IEP it stands for Individualized Education Plan, which is when when you have a random teacher that's assigned to you, but it's a teacher that you have, they ask you questions on how do you feel in class, how can we help you, what is a way, and all that stuff. And then they sort of help you detect what's going to be your future career. I think it's really sad that when I would hear some like classmates of mine that would say, oh, I want to be a doctor, and then my teacher's like, oh, you can't be because it's so many years of school, and you have to do this, that, this and that, and it's very strenuous, and it's sad. Like, we really need to like promote more awareness to learning disabilities and to mental disorders, so it won't continue to happen. And that really broke my heart, like when you just when you just crush someone's dream because you know so well that you can't really find a way there. So anyway, this is the end of my video. I hope you like it. Go like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.